if you ever find yourself stuck in the middle of the sea, I'll sail the world.
As a doctor, empathy to me means seeing the patient as a whole person and how the news or whatever we're telling them is going to affect their daily lives and how they're handling it. As a patient, it's kind of the same thing. I expect my doctor to understand me as a person and how it's affecting my daily life and seeing me for that instead of just telling me what I have going on.
Well, as a doctor, it just means putting yourself in a patient's shoes, especially we get a lot of complicated cases here, and a lot of times they're scared and don't know how to express their fear, and you might see that as a difficult patient or just someone that isn't understanding you. So you kind of have to put yourself in their shoes and try to relay the information to them in a way they can understand, and that way they're reassured and know that you care about their treatment and their eyes and make them more comfortable. And I would expect that as a patient too, that a doctor would want to be able to explain something to me in a way that I could understand, and so that I could feel more comfortable about my treatment process as well.
Empathy really, the definition is to be able to put yourself in somebody else's position, whether it's emotionally or cognitively. So as a provider, it's really important for me to be able to, tell patients that I understand what they're going through, figuratively putting myself in their chair. But also, I think it's important as a physician to also literally do it. So I've, taken a Humphrey visual field myself because I think it's important for patients to know that I've done it and I understand what they're going through when I make them do this, this long, tedious test that they don't find very interesting and find difficult to do. So that's part of it. And of course, it's kind of a deeper understanding of where the patient is coming from. So I can try to mirror what their emotions are or what they're feeling, but without knowing their history or where they come from, it's really hard to do that. So I think it's just mostly about compassion and trying to understand a patient's feelings and trying to understand if I were in that position, how would I want to be treated? And I guess to the second part of your question about what it means to me as a patient, I think is exactly that. We need to put ourselves in the position of being the patient and being the person that really, maybe not aware of everything, every test that's going on or everything that's being done. And so, I would want my doctor or my provider to be able to provide that support and empathy. So it's a very important emotion. It can also be treated very logically and cognitively. So I think it's a combination of doing all those things to make a patient feel welcome and comfortable and understood.
Empathy as a doctor and as a patient, to me, means that I'm listening to my patients, that I'm taking their concerns and their questions seriously, and giving people the time to be heard and to be understood. And I feel it means the same way to me when I'm a patient. I want my doctor to listen to me, to take me seriously, and to be understanding. And empathy ultimately, I think, means putting yourself in somebody else's shoes. So kind of getting out of your own mind for a moment and putting yourself into someone else's situation.
Well, empathy, I think, is a very important feature for all of us in life. It's the ability for us to be able to see the world through other people's perspectives. And so certainly when managing patients, we need to be able to understand their medical condition, their concerns, their issues outside of just their medical condition and how that fits into their life. And so hopefully, as we've spent a lot of time in our lives visiting remote places where there are less fortunate people than us, we've learned to try to appreciate others' situations who weren't as fortunate as we were, and So my hope as a physician is that I can bring that understanding to my patients and understand where they're coming from. From a patient perspective, my hope would be that I'm dealing with somebody who has similar ability. I think listening certainly is a very important skill. I want to be heard, and that certainly is going to be very useful in managing individual issues that we all have. And so empathy is the key to so much of what we do, and hopefully we can be as good as we are at it as we aspire to be.
You can count on